Hello, world. It's good to be back with you. Welcome to another episode of, I was going to say On the Air. That's another show I do someplace else. This is the Ken Simmons Show with my great theme song, Stardust. I love it. I want to thank all the people here at Area 58. I never do this. I'm very remiss. I should do it every time. The guy in back of the camera today is Chris Gardner, a great guy, a good technician. Will McKinney just left here. These people treat me like a king, and I really appreciate it. So, the weather outside is hot, so I said to the guys, let's get this thing over with quick. And one of them said, look, a half-hour show goes a half hour. I said, yeah, I forgot all about that. I want to make this, the next couple of shows, veterans thing, because we here at Area 58, and I'm talking about everybody here, including myself, I am a veteran, think so much of our veterans and think that we ought to do as much as we can for them. I think we're doing a pretty good job, but I think there's more that we can do. So I'm going to talk to some officials. I talked to the secretary, a member of the governor's cabinet, Mr. Urena. He was here. God bless him. He came all the way from Boston, a long drive, just to do my little bitty show, and I really appreciated that. And today, I've got another member of Veteran Services organization, and I want you to meet him. He's brand new in town, a nice guy. But before I go over there and sit down, I want to tell you a story about a veteran who I served with in the Korean thing. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not a hero. I never left the States. Neither did he. But we went through all the training. We were ready. We were able. We were young and all that. We wanted to go. It just never happened. But he is now in an assisted living. He's my age. He's down to 114 pounds from 210. And he hasn't got long to go. And I went up to see him the other day because he's my best friend in this whole world. And I felt kind of sorry. His name is Frank Berry. And for those of you that are religiously inclined, I would love it if you could say a prayer for him. Frank Berry. All right. One more comment before we meet our guest. Last night, President Trump and President Putin met. That's the show that I'm doing. This is the next day. Very hot day. Did President Trump give away the store? Now look, I am not politically motivated. I'm not going to get into that because that's not what I do. I just thought that his speech, that his rapport with President Putin was not right somehow. So what I'd like you to do is write us a letter, give us a call. I'd like your opinion. And anybody that would like to go on the air with me and talk about this, hey, I'm ready, baby. All you got to do is give us a call, 508-866-1019. I'd love to go on the air with you, male or female or both. Bring a friend with you, and let's have a real rousing discussion about President Trump. President Trump. Okay, I'm going to introduce you to my guest for the day. So don't go away. Take off your shoes. Pour yourself your favorite beverage. I'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Glad to be. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for being there, because if it wasn't for you, there'd be no need for me. I'll introduce you to my guests now. Remember I said we're going to have, next time we're going to have another guest for our next show. We're going to have another guest from the VA, from the Veterans Administration Organization. Does a little different job. My guest today is, let's see, I've got Roxanne. You're not Roxanne.
Not Roxanne.
No, you must be Joe Hickey.
I am.
Joe Hickey, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Good to have you. Good to have you here.
Glad
Remember,
to be here.
Not too long ago, we said goodbye to Kenny Morrison, who had served the town well in Veteran Services, I think for 17 years, but don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. he said goodbye. So today we're going to say hello to Joe Hickey and wish him well. Joe, you come from this town? You don't live here?
No. No.
Live in Plymouth?
I live in Plymouth. Yeah.
Okay. All your life?
No, I've been transplanted from Everett to Plymouth for the last 2 years.
Everett to Plymouth. My God, life is like from going from hell to heaven.
It's certainly different.
Yeah, it's Plymouth. Plymouth is probably the most beautiful place in this world.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of beautiful places in this world, but when I get out on the waterfront, and I've got a few problems on my mind, I sit there, and especially when it's not tourist season, it's so peaceful and so beautiful. It's just gorgeous. Of course, they're tearing it up now to get ready for 2020 because of the 400th anniversary.
Right.
By the way, I don't know if you know this or not. I don't think we know it here at Area 58. I should have called them. We have a Viking ship.
That's right.
Coming into Plymouth today.
Right.
A Viking ship with a crew of 35.
Yep.
So it's not a small ship. It's going to be here for 4 days, and I think Area 58 should strap a camera on their back and get on with me, and let's go down and take a look at this Viking ship. I think that's powerful stuff. Do you think PAC TV will be on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, married, Joe?
Married.
Children?
4.
4 kids, wow. How old?
44 down to 34.
So they're all adults now.
They're all adults.
Yeah.
9 grandchildren.
9 grandchildren?
9.
Any great?
Not yet.
Not yet. You look too young to have grandchildren.
Yeah.
You look very young. You've got a beautiful smile.
Thank you.
Are any of your are they all boys?
I have 2 boys and 2 girls. 2 boys and 2 girls.
That's great.
All in public service.
All public service.
Yeah. My son is a deputy fire chief in Everett. My daughter is a culinary arts instructor at the high school. My daughter works for Customs and Border Protection. And my other son is awaiting an appointment to the police department.
Oh, gee, that's great. Police department where, Everett?
Somerville.
Somerville. That's great. Does your wife work?
No, she's retired. She worked at the Massachusetts State Department of Education.
That's great. What a great family.
Yeah.
What a terrific
Proud
family.
of it, yeah.
And they're all local. They're all so you can see them every once in a while.
All local.
All right. That's great. How long have you been doing veteran services, Joe?
Before I retired, I was 8 years in the city of Everett as a veteran service officer.
8 years?
8 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
In the city of Everett?
Mm-hmm.
That's got to be a busy job.
It was busy. In the beginning, it was very busy. The veteran population is decreasing quite considerably since the end of the draft in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But but we still take care of what we do.
Would you have a staff there?
We did, yeah.
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 How many? How many on your staff?
One, just one. It's
Just
me and
one.
my administrative
Just
assistant.
one taking care of all that?
Yeah.
Wow. That's a pretty heavy job.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Enjoy it?
Very much.
You a veteran?
I am.
Which war?
Vietnam.
Vietnam. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Army?
Army Aviation, yeah.
Army Aviation?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was a crew member, a flight engineer on Chinook helicopters in Vietnam.
Wow.
It was interesting.
I'm gathering more and more respect for you. You know that? That's a hell of a job.
Yeah, it was interesting.
Interesting. You're a master of understatement. Holy mackerel! Imagine that. Yeah. But thank you for what you did. That's a great job.
Thank you.
All right. You've been here in Carver now for how long?
Since March.
Since March. And Ken Morrison was gone in March. Okay.
Yep.
Have you run into any problems so far?
Not a one. The people, the town, the administration's been very welcoming and very supportive. I really, really appreciate the assistance that they've offered and given to me and welcomed me into the community.
This is a great little town.
I'll tell you, it's different. It's
it is
like
different.
coming from New York City to a farm, and you know, it just really, I'm really pleased. I'm really happy with it. It's really homey.
You know what I've found? because I do a TV show, I think, and I talk to a lot of people, and a lot of people talk to me. At this town, the public officials all have the best interests of the town at
Yeah,
heart.
that's what I'm saying.
I mean, we've got a library, the town hall that you're in, the new school that's going up, the new fire station we just got, and those things, although the townspeople say, what do we need a fire station that big for in a little town like this?
Yeah.
Now, it sleeps, I believe it sleeps 80 people.
Wow.
Now, he has, the fire chief here, who's a great guy, was a great chief.
Yeah.
He's a great leader.
Yeah.
He said to me, I said, why do you have to have 80 beds?
Sure.
He said, because we have a call fire department,
Right.
and we might have guys here, 40, 50, who've been working their rear ends off, and they need some rest,
Right.
and I want to make sure they're able to get it. You can't beat that answer.
No.
Do you have a staff where you're working now?
I do. I have an assistant who is also a certified veterans agent. Just completed his course and was certified by the state last month.
So we have 2 veterans agents that are certified.
That's correct.
Gee, that's remarkable.
Yeah.
Think about that. We have a veterans group where I live in South Meadow Village. It's a mobile home park, and we have a lot of veterans there. And they formed their own group.
Right.
We were going to do a TV show with them, but we never got to it. And somehow that kind of fell apart. I don't know why, but a lot of these guys are suffering from what is it called, SPTB?
PTSD.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah. And so these things kind of fall apart, but they're great guys.
Yeah.
And I went before a couple of them just to tell them that you were now available. We had a new a veterans agent in town. And they said, well, thank you so much for telling us that, because sometimes, well, I won't go into that, but have you had a lot of people calling you?
Well, we do. And it's dependent on the communication out there. You know, when you communicate what you do, then you get a response.
Yeah.
And we're trying to communicate, and I know Ken did a great job of communicating the services of the Veterans Office here in Carver, and with that, and we'll try to continue that, try to get the word out as much as possible. So as you get the word out, you get more and more people interested in what the services are providing.
It's amazing how many veterans and their widows don't know
Exactly.
the amount of benefits available to veterans. And we're going to talk about that when we come back. So we're going to take a little break from what we're talking about right now, and I want you to remember that if you can't reach him for whatever reason, if you forgot the phone number we're going to give you in the next segment, even though it's in the phone books, it's not a problem. If you'd like any help from this quarter, I am not a veterans agent, but I do, because of my TV show and talking to people like this, I know quite a bit. But if you call here, 508-866-1019, and you're a widow of a veteran, or you're a veteran, or you're homebound, or you just don't know what to do, give me a call if you can't reach him. And I'll see that whatever message you have for him, I'll see that he gets it. I will promise you that. Good Lord willing, on my dying day, I will promise you that. If you're a veteran, I love you. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Good to see you. We're talking with the new veterans agent in town, Joe Hickey. Call him up, just say hello. Send him a card, say thank God you're here, whatever. Make yourself known that you love this guy, because he can help you a lot, believe me. There's a lot of veterans that I've talked to that are shy to go in and ask for help or ask what their benefits are. Don't be that way, you've earned it. You've earned it. The government said you can have X, and if you're not collecting it, you should be. I know some people that have turned down a disability, a 10%, 10, 20%, because they don't feel that they deserve it. And I would agree with you if that 10% went to somebody else that did deserve it, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It just languishes there. So don't feel that way. Joe, if I get sick and I need to go to a, oh, they have insurance. It's expensive as heck for civilian people. It's you go to a rest home or a hospital or a convalescent place, like my buddy's in now in Worcester, and it costs a fortune. The VA also has a program for that, do they not?
They do.
Is that expensive? It's how do you qualify for that?
Well, there's a couple qualifications, and it's called aid and attendance, and it's given to veterans and their spouses. The qualifications are you have to have served during wartime. You have to be financially qualified to be able to get these benefits. It allows for
financially qualified. Can we qualify that a little more?
Well,
no, you're going to be stone broke.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I mean, not stone broke. I mean, there are deductions that you can make. So if you have X amount of income and you're over that amount of money, that qualifies you.
How about assets?
Assets other than the home. The home is not counted.
Okay.
I'll say, but you can deduct medical expenses. So if you have X amount of dollars in medical expenses, you can deduct that from the qualifying amount and bring you down to where you can qualify. And what it does is it gives you a monetary distribution every month that allows you to go out and seek and get home health aid. So you can bring in home health aid, and it's for bathing. If you can't bathe or you have problems feeding yourself. It's like you said earlier in our conversation, they try to keep the veteran and the spouse at home as opposed to going to nursing homes. So it's a good program. It's a little complicated to fill out. We can help you fill out. There's also a form that the doctor has to certify the applicant. But those are it's a good program, keeps the veteran and the spouse in the home.
Which is where we want to be.
Where they should be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more comforting to the elderly people. You know?
Yeah. It makes you feel still independent.
Absolutely.
You know, and that's so important when you get older.
It certainly is. Now you're going back to how in your intro, when you talked about veterans not thinking they deserve these benefits.
Yeah.
And that's been a I don't know, a problem, but the case I've run into in the past. A lot of guys coming in, I just didn't deserve it. I wasn't in wartime. I didn't do this. There are other people that are more deserving. And I said, there's nobody more deserving than a veteran that puts on a uniform, than a man or a woman that puts on a uniform and swears to defend this country. Whether he went or he didn't go, or she didn't go, they still put that uniform on.
Absolutely.
It makes them eligible for every benefit everybody else is entitled to.
Absolutely.
And it was one of my biggest peeves that I've always, wanted to kind of grab them by the shirt and shake them and say, you are eligible. Get in here, sit down, and let's do a claim.
Yeah.
So,
don't feel that way. As he says, you put on the uniform. You were there when your country needed you.
Absolutely.
If they didn't utilize you the way you think you should have been utilized, that doesn't make any difference. You were there. You were willing to go over to Vietnam or Korea, in my case, or wherever, Afghanistan, wherever. You were willing to go. You were there. So you deserve everything that a guy who was in combat is getting.
I agree.
I know I know how you feel. I feel that way myself. I feel that way. I'm a disabled vet, and I don't think I deserve it. And as a matter of fact, I try to give it up, and this guy in Boston, this is a long time ago now, guy in Boston says, don't be a screwball. If you think you can give it, and it gets any publicity at all, think of all the other guys that are going to lose theirs. And that cured me right away. You know, talk about disability now. It's some veterans that I know personally think they should have their stipend, if it's 20% or 10%, upgraded.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, well, why don't you go and see the VA and get an exam and see? So I'm afraid they'll take it away from you.
Won't.
It won't take
happen.
it. No.
No.
Okay. There, you heard that from the horse's mouth. Excuse me for the analogy there, but so don't be afraid of that either.
No, don't be afraid of that at all.
We were talking about choice. Can we talk a little bit about that? Veterans' choice. This is something that's reasonably new, but it's been around for a couple of years now, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a lot of discussion, of course, political discussion. People thought that with the choice program just being signed by the president, they thought it was going to take away the VA and push veterans into the private healthcare system, which was totally not true. The choice program allows for veterans to go to facilities that are within easy reach of their homes. So people that are in Texas, they're 100 miles away from a clinic or a VA facility, has the choice to go to the local hospital. So it just gives them the choice. If the VA facility can't provide the particular service that the veteran needs, then he has a choice to go to a facility, a private facility, and get the medical care that he needs. That's all the choice program. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's not taken away from the VA whatsoever. It's actually an aid to the veteran who doesn't have the accessibility to the clinic or the hospital or the services, period.
Also, I think, correct me if I'm wrong now, if you're a 50% disabled or more and you live here in Carver or Plymouth and you need to go to Brockton,
Yeah,
you get paid for that.
that's correct.
Am I right?
That's right. Travel pay.
But
You'll travel pay, yeah.
Got to be 50% disability or more.
I think it's a little less than that. I'm not sure the exact. It might be like 30 or 40, but I'm not sure. But there is there's a component there where you get paid travel pay.
Remember what I said. Absorb this now. You need to go to Brockton, to the VA, and you live here, and you're 50% disabled or 40%, if you find that out, you get paid for travel pay. It's 57 cents a mile, I guess.
Yeah, whatever the
whatever,
federal rate
it is
yeah.
now. Yeah. That's a big help for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of veterans don't know that.
Yeah.
Is there anything you get questioned about that we could talk about here that
Yeah.
a lot of veterans don't know about?
Well, there's a lot of Massachusetts veterans what veterans don't know here, and their spouses, is that Massachusetts is the only state in the United States that compensates low-income veterans and their spouses, and it's called Chapter 115. The Chapter 115 program is specific to Massachusetts, and I applaud the political structure of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts for what they do. Millions and millions of dollars go to every city and town to provide aid and assistance to veterans that need financial help. There are a lot of people out there that are limited income, Social Security,
Yeah.
and their income is very limited.
Yep.
So if they are a spouse or the veteran, they can come in and apply for Chapter 115. If they're eligible, they receive monthly stipends that could be up to $800–900.
Wow.
They get their Medicare paid for, their supplemental paid for, their co-pays on their prescriptions, any incidentals, medically equipment that their insurance won't cover. So it's one of the best programs in the country. And I talk to veterans all over the country because obviously we meet once a year as a veterans group in a reunion, and no other states, I mean no other states offer this.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that one.
Yeah.
And qualify for that is assets and income again, right?
Assets and income.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not making it, come in, see us, and we'll sign you up.
Wow.
Yeah.
What do you ask for, Article 15 or?
called a Chapter 1. No, you don't want an Article 15. You remember an Article 15? No, it's Chapter 115.
Article 115 is what again? It's a punishment of some kind.
Yeah. It's a violation of the Army Military Code.
Yeah, not Article 115, Chapter 115.
Chapter 115.
I never heard of that.
Yeah.
Joe, thank you for bringing that up. That's great to know. Yeah, again, the point I'm trying to make here is when we had Mr. Arena on and Ken Morrison on, and now Joe Hickey on, is to let you know that there's help out there. You don't have to sit at home all alone and wonder how you're going to do this and how you're going to do that. There's help out there. Maybe you don't qualify, but here's the guy that can tell you. Call him up. And by the way, before we leave, I want to give you his phone number. It's in the book, but the phone number is 508-866-3406. Chris, can we put that on the bottom of the screen? Okay, look at the bottom of your screen. You'll see the phone number. And he also has a email. And it's joe.hickey at Carver, Mass. That's CARVERMA.org. Let me do that one more time. joe.hickey at Carver, Mass. MA.org. Don't be sitting there fretting. Don't be sitting there worried. And if you are a widow, again, he showed me some things I didn't realize. I didn't realize that a widow is entitled to medical care from a veteran that has passed away. That's extraordinary. I didn't know that.
As well as dependent children, too.
I was just going to say, dependent children also?
Dependent children, yeah.
Dependent. Now, I've got a son that's 62 years old. He's been dependent on me all his life. He doesn't qualify.
Yeah, there are conditions.
Joe, is there anything before we leave that you'd like to say to the people?
Just whatever you can. We can assist you with disability claims. If you were any service-connected disability while serving that's bothered you for these years, the Marine Corps, the Camp Lejeune dirty water situation. If you're a Marine and you served in Camp Lejeune, there are, I believe, 5 or 7 presumptive diseases that are associated with that. And it's critical that if you have any of those, or give us a call, I'll tell you what the presumptions are. Even if not, if you're sick in any physical way, give us a call. I'll tell you what we can do. We can file a claim. Agent Orange is still a major issue for Vietnam, and there are also what they call dirty water claims as far as serving in Vietnam in the canals and the rivers. There's also the Blue Water Navy claims that if you're on board a ship in Vietnam, you may have been exposed to Agent Orange. There's also many other, anything that you feel that you may have been associated with during military service. Peacetime or wartime, doesn't matter. Come on in, give us a call, and we'll help you sort through it.
Can't ask for anything more than that. Joe Hickey, thank you so much for being here. You've been, I've learned some things I didn't know before. Maybe we should follow this up in a few months with another meeting, and after you get your feet on the ground. Yep. Meanwhile, this is the brand new veterans agent in town, Joe Hickey. Nice guy as far as I can tell. Time will tell. I've had him surveilled since I first met him, and I have no bad reports as of yet. So, until next time, and there's going to be a next time, I'm going to have a lady on by the name of Roxanne Whitbeck, Director of Veterans Services at Office in Plymouth, but she's a little more than that, and I'm going to leave you with that tease. You're going to want to see her, you're going to want to listen to her. So until next time, keep a song in your heart. God bless, and goodbye.